Each year, there are a lot of important financial dates that you need to keep up with. If you don't, you might get penalized for missing payments, or you might miss out on opportunities to get insurance, or being able to contribute to certain retirement accounts that can be used to lower your taxable income. While this isn't a comprehensive list, in this video, we're going to walk through some of the most important financial dates and tasks that you need to be aware of each year. So for starters, January is pretty eventful for retirees, as there can be a lot of updates regarding Social Security or Medicare, but one of the most important things that you need to be aware of if you're self-employed is that your Q4 estimated quarterly taxes are due, and that's typically on January 15th. Another tax-related thing is that the IRS opens up their free file service and starts processing returns at the end of the month. And if you're able to get all your tax documents in pretty quick, it can make sense to start the filing process, so you're just kind of ahead of the game and don't have any delays if you wait until April. There aren't very many other hard deadlines that you have to meet at the beginning of the year, but you might want to just take some time to do a personal financial checkup. You could evaluate things like your retirement account contributions and what you plan to do throughout the year, or if you have stock options or RSUs, you need to make sure that you know their vesting schedule and what your strategy is and what your tax plan is for when those times come. You could also check your investment portfolios and make any adjustments that are necessary. You might want to reevaluate your risk tolerance and just make sure you're invested correctly based on that. You could review your insurance policies, just make sure all the coverages are up to date, beneficiaries are accurate, but that kind of rounds out Q1, so January to March. And then everyone's favorite time of the year, taxes in April. So taxes are typically due on April 15th every year, and last year they were due on the 18th, but I think that was because the 15th fell on either a weekend or a federal holiday. But it's always in April, and at the same time taxes are due, you can also make contributions to retirement accounts for the prior year if you meet the deadlines on time. So for example, if you put $4,000 in an IRA last year and the annual max is $6,000, you have until April 15th to add that additional $2,000 to completely max out that account. You don't have to do it, but it's a good tax planning opportunity. Then in June on the 15th, estimated quarterly taxes are due again for self-employed workers or anyone who receives 1099 income. Not much happens in the summer as far as deadlines go, because the next big thing is Q3 estimated taxes due in September. But you could take this time to do a check-in and review your cash flow, just like your spending and your income from the first half of the year, to see if you're on track for your goals and if anything needs to be adjusted. Also, the deadline to complete your FAFSA form is typically June 30th, so if you or your kids are college bound, that's definitely a date that you want to pay attention to. Then, like I mentioned, there aren't many big deadlines to meet in the summer, but you could set aside a little bit of time to check your credit score, just see if there's any areas for improvement. And in August, school starts back up, so you might want to budget ahead of time for any education costs. And then, like I was saying before, in September, Q3 estimated taxes are due. Then in October, if you filed a tax extension in April, everything is then due in October, typically on the 15th. In November, if you need to get health insurance or need to make adjustments to your plan, open enrollment starts. And if you use a flexible savings account, an FSA, you should check your balances and try and use as much money as possible before the end of the year, because typically you can't roll the funds over, and if you can, it's generally capped at $550 each year. Then in December, there are a few planning opportunities to lower your tax bill, as it's the last month to make deductible charitable contributions. And you also want to check your investment accounts, their contribution limits, and what you've contributed so far, because December 31st is the last day to make deductible contributions to your 401k for the current year. But that's a quick overview of some of the most important financial dates that happen throughout the year, and this isn't an exhaustive list, so you'll need to do a little bit more research to make sure that you're meeting all the financial deadlines that apply to your life.